cool. All right, recording's up. Uh,
Cool.
okay, so what's up? What do you have up? What do you have up?
Let's see. So, I guess first of all, so now now that we're out of all the crazy market, I'm finally getting a chance to like sit down and just take a look at all of like finances and stuff like that. And I know you pulled together a list of like all the Dowpunk expenses
Mm-hmm.
that currently flow through, most of them flow through me in some way. Um, and so what I was thinking, it would be nice if we could clean that up to where we change some of these like recurring subscriptions over to the Dowpunk credit card because we do have that bank account. Which let me see. Let me just pull up that bank account so I can give you accurate numbers. What's in there right now? So we have a bank account that we had to start. I think I've talked to you about this before, right?
I know you've mentioned that you have you have a legal entity. I didn't know you had a Dowpunk account, credit card account.
Yeah, so we opened a bank account with Bank of America, and basically the problem was and why we had to do this was when we initially set up all of the shirt claim stuff through Shopify. Shopify like requires that you have to like use some sort of government uh, numbering system. So you either have to put like your social security number or you have to put an EIN number, which is basically just a social security number for a business. And so none of us wanted to attach it to us personally. And so we basically were like, okay, well, I guess the next best thing is to set up a business. And so that's where the legal entity came in. But of course, like we didn't, it takes a while to set all that stuff up. So in the meantime, We Love Colors came forward, and they're a company out of Miami that makes clothing. And Craig is super cool. He's in the Dowpunk community. He was like, "Yeah, you guys can use my EIN number for now if you want." And so for the first like I don't know 3 or 4 months of Dowpunks with all the shirt claims and stuff, our Shopify was technically using Craig's business account in order to make it work.
Oh,
And and so it was super nice of him, and he did that completely for free. He didn't like charge Dowpunks or anything like that. So it was a really perfect arrangement. Um, but obviously, that's not like a long term thing. So we always were intending to get away from that. And so we did. We set up that legal entity so that we could then use that EIN number for the Shopify. And so we did set that up. Um, and then we also had to set up a bank account because we were also using Craig's business bank account for any like Visa payments for any of the merch before. So like the other drops that we did, people were paying with like Visa or fiat. We had to have a way to accept it.
okay.
And so when we launched the hoodies, like 99% of people paid for the hoodies in fiat. And so we set up a bank account to take that fiat in, and let's see, we grossed we grossed about 7,000, actually a little bit more. It's all I have all the bank statements, and we can always dive into them. But we grossed around like $8,800, something around there for the hoodies. And then Shopify obviously had to deduct like shipping, so there's a bunch of charges in here for shipping. And then we paid Sinjin the agreed upon split, which was posted on the announcements. So he got like about $1,400 for that whole round. So right now that left us with about $5,700 in cash from the hoodies, and we were always intending on like moving this fiat into the Dowpunk treasury, like in the ETH
Hmm?
wallet, but we just haven't done that, and it's probably a good thing that we haven't done that because who knows, maybe we would have bought ETH or something. Um, and so really we have like the Dowpunks treasury, but we also have this bank account. We have like $5,500 roughly in it right now, and I have a debit card for this account. And so right now we have the Shopify hooked up to it. So there's like debits from Shopify in here, like just small debits for like shipping and stuff. And then it looks like we paid $300 to renew our business tax receipt with Delaware. where our incorporation is, or our LLC. So other than that, we do have a legitimate bank account, so we can theoretically switch some of these recurring payments from like my personal accounts to this account.
Yeah, I 100% believe it should be. But then we also have to keep in mind that there becomes a timeline of when we need to replenish that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with our expenses right now, that I think with what you have, I think what are our expenses at? We're like
Under
monthly. It's
300, under like less than $300 a month.
yeah, it's like $300 a month times 12. So I mean, so yeah, we have at least like a year's worth in here, unless there's like not any like unforeseen charges that come out of here, but I don't think there will. So so
Yeah,
yeah, that could work. So that's an option.
yeah. So we have, yeah, because so yeah, accounting for yeah, there's 272, and that's just rough of everything. And I do agree that we should move it to there. I'm not fully versed in everything that we pay for, but like there are some things that we're gonna need. Like I don't know much about DigitalOcean, or Vercel currently. Oh wait, unless Vercel is the website, isn't that the website?
Yeah, Versal's the website, and DigitalOcean is the other the other server space that we pay for that is hosting like all of the shirt claim API stuff.
Ah, okay. Mm.
Yeah, that's I. It would be nice. I kind of have a feeling that Versal and DigitalOcean are similar, but I kind of don't think maybe they aren't though. It'd be nice if we could consolidate some of these things, but the problem is like the DigitalOcean setup is already built out a certain way, and
Well,
we might actually spend more money trying to pay someone to move it for us.
Well, also the DigitalOcean is limited because if that's holding the shirt API for claiming, right? And we're only doing the shirt claim until October, right? It's only for a year.
Yeah, I think I don't remember the exact date we minted, but it was like in November, I believe. So
Yeah. So worst case. I hate like I love saving money when we can where we can, but like if it because we I don't know enough coding to like just be like, oh yeah, like we can help migrate these two things together, so we may just like have to just eat that, unless somebody else knows well enough to just be able to migrate it into one thing or knows both of these so that they can do it. So we can probably save an extra $30 a month for the time being. But
yeah,
that's
I think I agree with what you said. We probably that's another thing I want to talk about too. Like theoretically, let's say we put a hard date on the shirt claim. Once we get past that, which will be in the next, you know, 6 months, 5 months maybe, that charge, that DigitalOcean charge, might just go away, you
yeah,
know, theoretically forever.
yeah, which that's fine. So hey, we're, we can't we can't fix everything, but we can try our best to try to limit things. And I think overall, everything should be fine. I mean, we have
Yeah,
the Discord fee per month is like all right. And the only other thing that you could possibly add is the Sesh API or programming that Hero has. But that's on a that's per year. So that's
yeah.
all
Well,
right.
let's put that on our to-do list then. Or like on your notes, like we'll work on migrating any subscriptions to the Dapon credit card, and then, or it's a debit card. And then, we'll try to start using that moving forward to some degree, and we'll just keep watching it and making sure that if it needs to be replenished, it can. And then that way, stuff's getting a little bit more decentralized. And then, I'm perfectly happy adding other people to the Bank of America account. The only downside with adding people to Bank of America is they have to be present with you in person. So it's a pain, but
That's going to be very complicated.
yeah, but it could happen theoretically. It's like, let's say like, like, you're still around and eager to keep doing your thing next year, and we're at like a conference together. We can always just go hit up a Bank of America or something. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
that's very true. I gotta hit up a conference soon. I would love to. So yeah,
Yeah, so we'll do that, and I still need to add Sinjin and Hero. Me and Sinjin I was gonna add Sinjin in Los Angeles. We went to Bank of America and it was closed, and then we just ran out of time, so we didn't do it. But right now I have control of that. So
okay, all right. So we
And
got
then, you know, for future stuff too, like I know we're gonna be doing another shirt drop here soon for Sinjin, assuming that we sell some shirts. You know, all that money is gonna go into this account as well. It would be nice to figure out a workflow on how to move money back into crypto, but I think the problem is gonna become is if we're using a business bank account, we're probably gonna have to set up a business like Coinbase account. So there's steps to all that stuff, which is why we haven't done it yet because it's not like super easy. It's just gonna take some thought.
business.
Which we have all the documentation to do it theoretically. Like there shouldn't be an issue to set up a Coinbase business account. Like we have, you know, everything we need for it. It's just nobody's done it yet.
Yeah, it's also very yeah, it's also coming at a rough time where we're trying to also build out like a treasury framework, and so like eventually that's going to come out, and like that's and how this works will also have to be taken into account for that, because I had no idea that like we would need to account for something like this. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well, to be
interesting.
honest too, I feel better right now with honestly this money staying in fiat at the moment anyways. So
Oh, I agree. I agree too. There's nothing wrong with having it in fiat or even in just in Dai, just so that way you can like it's because it's so convenient because you have like because we're gonna have to make these transactions, and like it's always good to just have like cash on hand in the currency that you need it to be in for these simple tasks.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and this is not all profit either, by the way. I still think we owe the printer something on these hoodies. They're just kind of slow on invoicing us. So this $5,500 roughly that's in here, that also includes probably what we owe the printer as well. So we just need to look at that. I mean, we have plenty of funds. Everything's there. So I think let me see. In one of the announcements we said how much was like profit. It wasn't that much. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not really the best at like accounting
I
stuff.
I don't remember.
I remember we posted like something saying like, "Hey, here's how it all worked out for the hoodies," and we said we were gonna transfer the money into the multi-sig, which that never happened. Um, and then nobody asked about it again, so which
I
is why
mean,
it probably hasn't happened.
yeah,
Let's see.
I mean, also like just as a quick observation, I'm pretty sure that nobody got the hoodie with the 101 Dowpunk on it.
Yeah, I think it was confusing. I think the printer messed it up, and so I think it was just confusing to people.
Uh, that's fine because like the photo that Sinjin has that he posted of it is the hoodie with the 101. So
Yeah,
I
right here. So it looks like Heroes said in one of the announcements, he said we're sending 30% of the sale proceeds to the community treasury, which is about 1,500 USD. So so yeah, out of that $5,000 that's in there, we do owe the printer a decent amount, which I just need to just check with Sinjin and see like when our next payment is due. I'm gonna send him a message right now.
okay.
We're for the printer, we're like really small fish. So even if we owe them like, you know, 10 grand or something at a time, they really don't seem to be all that concerned about collecting it. But
Yeah,
I'd rather just get it paid and be done with it,
you
not
want to
worry about it.
yeah. I've talked to Sinjin about the printer and how they're doing us favors by taking us as a client.
Yeah.
We are not like a big client for them.
Well, they were originally accepting crypto from us as well. We paid them in ETH a few times. I kind of think that they probably won't do that again.
Yeah,
But maybe they will. I mean, they're smart guys, and I don't think they're like again like it's such little amounts to them that they probably don't care. They're probably just holding it. But yeah, either way, we have the money that we converted for the shirts, and I don't think everyone's going to claim those. So there's going to be some left over, and then we also have the money for the hoodies. So
yeah. I actually, Hero had mentioned a while ago that he hasn't claimed all the shirts and all of his tokens on all of his NFTs yet. So
yeah, well
uh,
that kind of leads me on to the next one. So So we're just to backtrack on that. So we're fine with all that right now. So, move some of these expenses over to that card,
Okay.
and we'll just watch it. Um, but I mean, worst comes to worst, we can move money into there somehow. So that's not a big deal. And so that's good. And then so the shirts. So yeah. So originally the shirt claim was going to be set for like at least a year, and so I think we can honor that. That's not a problem. Um, I think we minted out in like November. I don't remember exactly. It was probably like late October, early November, sometime around then. So I was thinking maybe we put a hard deadline on the shirt claim and just say like, hey everybody, the redemption's gonna close basically on like the date of the year, like November or whenever we first started it. And then that way we can start encouraging people to claim shirts that they have not claimed yet, which will get, all that process done. But then it'll also, you know, put a date on when this is going to end because, the arrangement works right now with our printer, but there's no saying that it's going to work forever. And like we have people claiming them like every week, like at least one person, right? So they trickle in, and that's fine. But the problem is like I don't know if our printer's going to want to continue to do like just one print every week for us.
Yeah.
And so I just get worried that like one day we're just going to like wake up and they're going to be like, "Hey, like we sold the company and the new people don't want it," or "Hey, like, we just don't want to do it anymore." And then we're kind of like stuck telling everybody else like, "Oops, sorry."
Yeah. Okay. We should probably do that. I interestingly enough, where was the? Hold on. I think I could the because the day of mint and the day when you drop the shirt claim are two very different dates.
Yeah, and that's true. And we probably
Um.
need to look at that more than anything.
Hold on, because I can hold on. Does it tell me when I bought mine? Because I bought mine like a day or two before.
Yeah, let me see. If I go back in the announcements, I can see it as
December
well.
15th. I bought mine on December 15th, 2021, which was 15th. I think the shirt claim started on Friday, December 17th, if I had to venture a guess.
Okay, so yeah, it's sometime around then.
So,
So
yeah.
then, I want to hear from Sinjin too, and I want to hear from Hero. I did message them, so they are probably gonna get back to me on that. So, but it sounds like you're cool with that too. So
Yeah.
I'll just wait until we get some more consensus, and then we'll put a plan together. But that's, we don't have to do anything actionable on that yet, but I think that's probably smart. And then we got well, not 6 months. We really have 5 months to start telling people like, hey, they're not even 5 months, kind of like 4.5 months. Hey, everybody, like, you know, claim your shirts if you want them, because if not, they're gonna be gone forever. And that'll probably be good for the community as well because it'll get people back engaged with DAO Punks again. People will get shirts in the mail. It'll probably actually help a little bit, get some more buzz going.
Yeah. That'll be good. At least get people back flowing into it. But we'll see how it goes. Um, I'm skimming through.
Yeah, and then that's cool. And then, again, it's another thing off of our roadmap that we're done. We did it. We finished it through the bear market, which will be good. So that's just good. Good to get stuff instead of leaving it hanging for a long time. And then what the caveat too, which would be really good as well, is that like any unclaimed shirt money that is left over will be automatically like forfeited to the grants or just operating whatever.
Operating costs. I mean,
Yeah, and so
would be funneled just back into the treasury.
like I imagine, I think we converted like $20,000 into DAI. Let me see. I can actually look it up right now. We have it on our multi-sig. So in the DAO Punks multi-sig, we have. Okay, we have 15,754 DAI right now. Did we use some of this? We must have. Yeah, we sent 4,000 die, 4,246 on May 24th. And that must have been to the printer.
That's 524. That was this last month.
Yeah, that must have been. Swap ether. Yeah, actually they're smart. They were swapping ETH for DAI a while back. So yeah, they've been saving money. All right, so yeah, that must have been to the printer.
Okay, yeah, I looked. I just found some old. I found a post. Shirt redemptions is on. It was on Friday, so that would be. It was on December 17th, 2021.
Okay, cool. And actually, that DAI payment might have been for the hoodies. To be honest, we might have just paid them in DAI. So I mean, there's a little intermingling of funds happening, which is fine. I mean, a dollar is a dollar. Um, but I just need to check with Sinjin on that. He's been the one that's been keeping track of that.
Yeah. We got to be a little bit more better about like a spreadsheet that just says date, time, payment, and then a note for it, which is, I mean, I kind of suspected and was proposing that we should probably be a little bit better because there's a lot of money going around here that like nobody really knows.
Yeah, yeah, it's all going the right places. It's just yeah, it's hard to sometimes remember where
Yeah,
where it went.
they're like, did we pay them? Yes, no, and that's like the worst. It's like when you can't remember if you paid somebody already, and you're just like shit, like, uh, they're like it's like because like as long as you can like have an email or like just like a note that just like paid on this day confirmation, like just basic like bookkeeping stuff. We need to do
Yeah,
that. We need
which
that.
none of us are good at that apparently. Let me see. I'm looking through our messages with Sinjin. I think because he usually posts about it, like when I talk to him. Let me see if he said something about it. Okay, yeah, right here. Yeah, so the last DAI payment we sent him was for, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 invoices, all total together. Copy message link. All right, save that. Yeah, we need to get better. Well, now that we're in the bear market, it'll be a lot easier to focus on stuff like this because there's not much else going on. So.
Huh. You say that. You say that now. There's always stuff to do, but this actually takes a lot more priority to me.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got all notes on us bookkeeping. We basically need somebody to like step up and be an accountant. And if you want me to do that, I'm happy to just like start aggregating and create a spreadsheet of just like here's your shit. Like here's the invoices. Please see here. These are numbers and reference it. Um,
Yeah, that'd be great if you wanted to do that. That would help a lot because that's just not how my brain works.
yeah, I'll start taking like I guess I just gotta get your invoices and I gotta have access to like the funds so that way I could just show transfer and confirmation stuff. So I guess you could just email me like in the invoices and stuff.
Yeah, so Sinjin gets them all. So we probably should set up a call between like me, you, and Sinjin sometime soon, and just sit down with Sinjin. Let's just ask him like, okay, so where do these invoices come from? Um, how do you get them? I'm sure Sinjin would be fine with passing over a lot of this stuff to us,
Yeah. I
and
also
then it'll be
yeah,
easier.
I gotta take photos of the shirts this weekend for him. So
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, let me see. I saved that. Let me send this to Sinjin. Just ask him. I'll just tell him too. I think you want to take it over from him.
I think I'm kind of pumped about the next shirt. If we can get the price that I would like us to have, I think it'll be a banger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a call with him the other like a while ago. Just like I was like I I'm like we need a like you need a more affordable shirt that reaches more people. I was like we'll do more volume at a cheaper price. Like I
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. All right, and well, one another issue we need to solve too is our shipping. If we can get our shipping down, that'll help a lot. All right, so I sent Sinjin a message in another group chat that I'm a part of, and I will see what he says. And I asked him if he wants to set up a meeting with you too, and then I'll join you guys, and we'll just start figuring that out. So let's just put a note on that.
okay.
Talk to Sinjin about invoicing slash like payables, and then we can figure that out. So that's another one that'll be good to take care of. And let's see. So is there anything else on that you wanted to talk about, or is that good for now?
With regard to finances, that's all I had. Everything else is just the other stuff related to grants. The only thing that I have is basic stuff. It ends on Tuesday. After it ends on Tuesday, immediately got to set it up. Set up put up the results for Snapshot because we have to do a fucking Snapshot vote on it to approve of the distribution, and then we can give them the money, give the cohorts their money, and we can then after that, then we have to go in and we have to start reworking the grants framework because it's not there's some stuff that we need to fix.
Yeah, yeah, and it kind of sucks that like we held that amount as like a rug proof, but the only people who are getting rugged are probably the grantees because price of ETH has just taken a massive hit.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's you. They should have known that going in. I think that they were getting slightly rogued because of we weren't very clear on the wide distribution during the second half payment. That sucked. And if we really need to do that, that was
Yeah,
I don't I've fallen into the camp of like I don't see that we need to do that. I think that's like a bit disingenuous. But there are everybody a lot of people other people are think that they're like they it's interesting to keep because it provides some level of incentive to try harder, but it's also hard to compare.
what are you talking about?
The every some in the last grants meeting, people were like they wanted to keep some form of the coordinate for a weighted distribution as a form of payment for not like at least for some form of it. So that way, some people who really excelled during the cohort could potentially get more for their efforts, but I didn't think that was really I don't think that that's really a good idea. I'm more in the like we said we would do up to this amount. Like we should just keep it that way and not really kind of do any type of weighting of the ETH based on like certain metrics that they have to
Yeah,
set up. I just I don't know.
I agree.
I didn't like it. I even now like I'm just kind of like I was like yeah. It's just like it just seems like a little. It seems a little rough to do, especially because everybody's cohort round is different, and uh,
I agree. I agree. I don't like the weighting either, and I also think in the next cohort we could just get rid of the coordinate altogether. It's just clunky. It's not made for that,
yeah,
and I don't know. I think it'd be easy. Like maybe at the end, maybe instead like rug proof at the end, you just have like a chance for if somebody thinks that somebody doesn't deserve. Actually, I don't know. That created a bunch of problems too. I don't know. Maybe make it like at the end they're gonna get their allocation unless something happens.
yeah.
You know?
I just think that like you could solve the like if you wanted to keep a rug measure in it, like your rug measure could just be like you have a final vote. They're like, did they achieve the frame like their framework or their goals that they had set out at the initial of it, yes or no, and then like if the majority said yes, then they get it. If the majority said no, then they didn't, and like you could it could be as simple as that. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
so
Well, that brings up a good question too, and this is one of my questions is like, what at what price point of ETH do we try to like prolong these grant rounds, or do we ever do that? Like, ETH is at $1,000 right now. It's at $1,028, which is crazy. Granted, it was like $4,000 not long ago, and it was like $2,600 like last month. um, and so like, at what point do we say like, okay, like if ETH is below this number, then we aren't giving grants away at this exact moment. Like, do we do that?
Yeah. Personally, no. We do one ETH, and we continue to do one ETH until, for the foreseeable future, until something else changes. So if ETH hits $500, it hits $500. If ETH hits $10,000, it hits $10,000. It only seems to be affected by whether or not when price drops, that's when people start to get it seems to be a little bit different. I think if ETH goes higher, we might get better candidates.
Yeah, or if ETH goes lower, we might get better candidates. To be honest, we might get the real builders.
Yeah. So but that's just my take.
Yeah, that's a good take then. I mean, I agree with you, and I think even originally the way that grants were set up, it was never set up to be really any meaningful amount of income, anyways, unless you're like lived in some like lower income country. But yeah, it was always like, well, this is just a little bit of something to help, but you really need something a little bit more concrete. So what I'm saying is like, it's almost like it's like vested. It's almost like it's equity, right? Like they're taking on like equity, and then they're gonna work and hopefully ride into the next bull market, and whatever assets that they hold are gonna appreciate. And so like,
yeah,
the
exactly.
grant they might get from us might be worth $500 today, but if they hold it, it might be worth $5,000
exactly
in 2 years.
Exactly. So that was my belief too.
Okay, I agree. That's a good way to have it then.
I mean,
that sounds good.
It'll come up again when we redo the framework, and like if you keep it in there, or we just codify it as like it's going to be one ETH, like it's always going to be one ETH distributed regardless of price. So
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, well, that sounds good.
And that's
we have some other opportunities still. I mean, like I've been sleeping on doing the Sobel DAO Punk, and I don't even know if they'd still want to do it, to be honest. Like we agreed like a while ago, probably like 4 months ago, to do it, and I started on it, and we sent some stuff over to them, and they liked it, and they had, we were just working on it, very early phases, but it's kind of just lost. The trains come off the tracks, and so we just have lost communication with them. And that's B Pete, so he's super cool, and he's been great for the DAO Punks. And so I want to do something, but I guess the question becomes like, when people want to do like collabs with us moving forward, if that happens, like, do we honor our original like 3 ETH price? Do we raise that? Like, that's a question that we don't have to have an answer for today, but that's a question.
Sorry.
And then also like,
we have a price for collabs of 3 ETH.
That's what we've done. So we did City DAO, we did 3 ETH, and then Aragon DAO, we did 3 ETH, and that was back when ETH was like a lot. So I mean, we were like, it was about $11,000 each collab, and then we were, I was basically doing it for like free essentially, and so I wasn't taking any money from it. But we were, at the time, we didn't have any treasury management framework set up. And so like, it was me and Sinjin and Hero kind of, just trying to bootstrap expenses and stuff, like the operating expenses. So we had our other multi-sig set up, which was like an operating account kind of. Mm-hmm. And so when we did the 3 ETH, I think we ended up sending like 2.25 to the community treasury, and then we kept the other ETH in that operating account. We were using that ETH for like just various stuff, like paying Carl Sheriff to help us with stuff, and whatever other expenses we have, like one-time type stuff. And so the only problem with that model going forward that I can see is like, it's not a very like not a very promising business model to where like people that are doing work aren't getting compensated. And I've been fine with that, and I'm even now fine with it. But the problem becomes is like whenever there's not much to gain personally, it's hard. It's hard to like sit down and finish stuff. It's hard to get people to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we have to figure that out like moving forward. Now I don't know what the magic answer is, and it'd be nice if we found other income generating areas in the future where
I know. I want, yeah.
Because like it's just not sustainable for like, like I could probably go find us more collabs, but the problem is all I'm doing is I'm creating more work for myself and I'm not getting compensated for it really.
Yeah.
Other than helping the community, which is great, but it's just like it's just hard to find that time to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to work on this for free.
Yeah, you need your operating expenses your revenue should include payment for the person doing the service and a level of profit that feeds back into the operating costs, and of which it sounds like you are going out trying to do these collabs, not paying yourself, and all of that is just going straight into the treasury afterwards, which is not a very sustainable, because like you said, if you're not getting paid, the will to do things drops off.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's kind of what happened. Like we did the first ones and they turned out really good, and I spent a lot of time on them, and that was fine. But then like with this one, inevitably that just bad business model has just kind of made it to where it's not done now, and so I feel bad. I still want to do it because I told them we would do it. But I need to check first and see if they even want to pay for it anymore. Who knows? Maybe I don't know what the state of their project is, so I got to check. But either way, like yeah, if we want DAO Punks to continue to thrive in the future, we have to figure out like what are some revenue generating models that work to where A, it's not just me, and B, people get compensated for their time and efforts, and so it makes it like an attractive kind of like option. Which in Sinjin's case it does. Like we paid him a commission on the hoodies, which he deserves. But it's easier. It was easier to do that, and I wanted to keep Sinjin around too because he's really the only person that knows how to do that stuff. So
yeah, he's been trying to teach me so I can take over for him because apparently he's also tired. So I don't blame him.
Yeah, and I'm not tired. It's just more like I don't want to. It would really just do everybody else a disservice too if I just don't say anything and I just continue to do stuff without really telling people where the problems are. If I ever just stop doing it, then it's not going to do anyone any favors.
If you got hit by a bus tomorrow and you didn't tell us, we would be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, so that's the problem. So really, it's like I'm fine. I need to find time to do the Sobel one because I already told them I would, and I'm perfectly fine doing it. But we do just need to think like, okay, how do we actually make this like a sustainable business to at least pay for itself? Like how can we at least get the expenses to pay for themselves? That's the first goal.
Off the top of my head, the first few easy things that we could possibly do, but it will require setup and something worthwhile, is either podcast and newsletter. But that's going to be a little rough getting off the ground because again, bear market. To what are we going to talk about that would be interesting enough to charge people for?
Yeah, the podcast, I know Hero's got his podcast. He said he was going to launch the first episode, which I listened to it, and it sounded really good.
Oh,
I haven't seen him launch it yet.
Yeah, you listened to it? I have not heard him. Wait, didn't he message?
Do you want me to send you the link for it? He hasn't, posted it yet.
Oh, he's probably pissed because I'm seeing in the chat that he said, when are we launching the podcast? And he just says, tomorrow or I die. And that was supposed to be yesterday.
I think but he said some reason why not. I think he said.
Oh, if he did, he probably said it to you in a different chat.
Yeah, no, yeah, he hasn't said anything. I guess I'll check with him. I don't want to push him too much, but
we could do. I mean, honestly, the other things we could do are like silly things that are not like that could be fun. Like could be fun team building, but they're not really like long-term sustainable. Like I don't know, like online games or like community games that we play with members, if they want to join in, like, you know, for like $1, like you can play like set up like some type of like trivia game or something like that, make it interesting, and do like easy giveaways. I did that for Fat Choice, where I offered to do a trivia game show for them. Nobody, like, only like really only like 2 people showed up, but I mean, it was fun. We could try to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm down to try stuff. I just wonder. I mean, I think like the biggest thing is just us surviving through the bear market. If we can just survive and just coast, really, then I think if we just get to the other end, there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel eventually, and we'll start to see, new influx. And yeah, if we can just be building towards something, like, I'm not too worried about like generating a ton of revenue in any capacity right now. I'm more worried about, like, can we survive? And when I mean survive, I more mean, like, can we survive just people being interested? And really, like, when I mean that, I mean even people just like you. Like, how long are you going to stay interested in? And
Yeah.
then, if assuming that, like, us and the other small group of people stay interested and keep building something, then how do we start paying just for basic expenses? And it's not out of any of our pockets, and that's a win. And then really the best part would be, how do we do all that and then also pay all of ourselves for all of our time and effort as well,
Exactly.
while also doing more grants and all sorts of other cool stuff that's going to pop up. And I think we're in the right space, dude. Like, if you look at like Vitalik Buterin talking about stuff, like, everybody's super bullish on public goods stuff, and that's really what this project is all about. I mean, and so I think we have the right mindset. It's just like, how do we just continue pushing it?
Yeah. Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is. I mean, it's another thing too is just time. Like, I also believe, if all of us can become experts in DAOs and to some degree, then there's a lot of things that we can do with DAO punks in that vein as well. If we become like kind of the go-to of, like, hey, these guys know DAOs, so if you're interested, go talk to them. There's all
Yeah.
sorts of ways you can monetize that.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. And another thing too, like, what's interesting about crypto as well is, like, sometimes you don't make all your money from, what you want to be doing. You make all your money from something else, like trading or stuff like that. And so maybe that happens here as well. Maybe just by us staying in DAO punks and building DAO punks, maybe DAO punks never becomes this, like, big, huge revenue driving monster, but maybe through some of our efforts, we all find income elsewhere, and that income helps us to keep coming back here because of, like, the mutual benefits.
Exactly. Yeah, I can see that. I definitely agree with that. That.
That's like me. Like, I never thought that I would be able to make, like, full-time income from DAO punks. It's just, I don't think the business model is there, but if I can keep making money elsewhere, I'll keep coming back.
Yeah. I would love. It would be so great if we could just somehow turn this into a good revenue generating stream.
Well, the
Which
low-hanging fruit, dude, is merch. It's merch. It's just the merch business is hard.
or now bear with me. Commercialization of our punks themselves. Just throwing it out there. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for stuff like that. I personally don't think that's gonna go anywhere on its own. I think there needs to be some sort of, like, catalyst. But I mean, if as long as that's there, maybe the catalyst will show up eventually one day, and we'll be happy
Hey,
that we already set it up.
you know, hypothetically, like, here, let me paint you a story that, like, I had the other day of this. If, since We Love Colors has their own merch store, he could, in theory, if we set it up right, he could use his own punk to do whatever he want on his own merch line. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, even if it doesn't mean anything, like, even if it doesn't sell well, but it's like, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that's one, like, viable use for it. But I mean, that's a pipe dream for me, or maybe a
Oh
real
yeah,
dream.
absolutely. Oh, I agree, and I'm still down to build more stuff. Like, I always intended on doing doing something else that's either like an add-on to DAO Punks, or it's like a derivative of somehow, or whatever that might be. Like, I'm down to build something else. I just have yet to really hear any good ideas for what we should build yet. So it's kind of like, I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
that
Uh,
good idea.
yeah. Look, much like you have said multiple times. Oh, that's a great idea. Go flesh it out. Go present it. Go present the option. They're like, don't tell me your idea and expect me to do it. Like, tell me your idea and then go build it and then present to me a final product.
Yeah, I think it's a time thing too. Like, NFTs as well are fairly new, and not a lot of people really understand how they're going to be used and all that stuff. And so I'm kind of just waiting as well to like see, like, okay, people think that this is how we can use NFTs. So like, let's go watch them try to build that and see if it works.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to land on something and be like, okay, that worked really well for that project. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Which hasn't really happened yet. I mean, it has not happened yet. Another interesting place to do that we could explore would be like physical NFT stuff, like merging the physical with the digital and somehow. And we've already kind of done that. Like, we were kind of pioneers in that. And I feel like we haven't really gotten the I feel like we still have yet to really received any like real recognition for the feat we've pulled off from the outside community. I don't think people have really understood, what we did. Which, that's another thing too. Like, in the future when NFT projects are antique and antiquated, like, maybe there'll be something special with the fact that we, did something different, and maybe we can still do some more stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to do.
No, you're absolutely right.
But that's just on my mind. That's all I've been thinking about is like, but really, I think my main focus right now is like, let's just try to keep cleaning stuff up that's messy, because there's obviously a lot of stuff that's messy. So we have time to clean it up, and then we kind of just wait until like we all kind of stumble onto something new that we want to try, and just if we all land on the same thing, we'll try it.
Yeah. We'll see. I made Hero go ask the people at the Bankless Legal Guild to review my draft of the copyright legal notice to see if it's actually viable. So I'm waiting to hear back from him on that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And if he comes back to you and he doesn't have anybody that can do it, let me know, because I have somebody that I paid like a bunch of money to do some stuff not that long ago, and I feel like he still owes me some time, so he probably could look at it too.
Yeah, because like I wrote something, but I'm not a lawyer, so and it's mostly like copy paste from like somebody else that wrote something, and I just filled in the blanks for us. So
yeah, well, that sounds good.
Because we need something. And then we have the government framework also being worked on, so that should be somehow taken care of within the next couple months or sooner. We'll see. And then we have finances, so it looks like we have a path forward for that. Grants is almost done, and then we can go talk about the revision for that, and then how that looks, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like, it doesn't feel like there's all that much happening right now, but from like a business perspective, a small business perspective, and I used to sell a lot of small businesses back in the day. We have a pretty healthy little organization. It's funny. It's like, we have money in the bank. Granted, a decent chunk of it is in like very volatile assets, but we have money in the bank. We have very little operating expenses, and we have customers, and so really it's like we're in a good spot. We just have to figure out like, what do we do with it?
Yeah, how do we? What do we do?
In a changing market too, like, and there's a whole nother business model we can go towards too in the future. Like, maybe what we do is maybe the next crypto conference, we just throw like the most badass party. Like we rent like a warehouse and we just throw like a sick party. And maybe DAO Punks becomes like a social brand, like around Web3 workers, and we like there's all sorts of things we could do.
Just become like a guerrilla brand that just like hosts like specialty events that you have to know about and like to get in.
Yeah, or like maybe we sponsor like dope parties or something, and and maybe like part of owning a DAO Punk gets you into stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think is interesting too is Bankless LLC. So like the main Bankless, they are working on like a Web3 integration right now in the back end with their website and their membership, and they're trying to like turn their subscriber base into like a NFT based membership system somehow, and they haven't really figured that out yet. But I'm trying to think of like I'm waiting for the right time, but it would be cool to kind of see if we can maybe work in some benefits for like DAO Punks or something, where it's like, hey, like because the DAO Punk brand is an offshoot of Bankless DAO, and so it's like maybe we could work in some auxiliary benefits to where it's like if you own a DAO Punk NFT, then you get some perks over at Bankless LLC or something, maybe.
Maybe. Oh. Hmm.
To where I don't know. Again, we start working in like benefits into like strategic places. You know.
Yeah.
But that's just another potential option. Maybe there's reasons why we wouldn't want to do that, but just an idea.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Bankless, I finally I made some more progress on the job board with MW. After a couple of like back and forth and misunderstandings, they finally figured out what we were trying to do. So it looks like we are trying to get our own curated, or we're going to hopefully be able to get our own curated job board for us. And see if we can use that as a potential revenue stream as well. I'm still waiting to hear back on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be a great way. 'Cause, yeah, Bankless makes a lot of money from their job board
Oh,
per month.
oh yeah. And even if
They have a much bigger reach than us, but yeah, they make a lot.
I mean that's true, but like it would give us something to strive to do, and probably curate and work on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I've always thought too. I've always thought DAO Punks, honestly, the most low hanging fruit for DAO Punks in revenue generation is probably becoming like a hiring agency. Like it really, it's just I wish I had the interest of doing that, but I just don't. But I could see though, like as an entrepreneur, that like would be a perfect catalyst for that.
Yeah.
You become like the expert, group of experts around DAOs. You create strategic relationships with other DAOs and hiring DAOs, and then all the newbies flock into DAO Punks looking for what is a DAO? How do I work for DAOs? And we kind of just like become like a kickoff point for everybody,
Yeah.
like a LinkedIn almost, but of DAOs.
That's I like that analogy. That's good.
Yeah, because that's what everyone thinks, right? When they're like, "Oh, I got to go get a job," so they like go update their LinkedIn profile. Like that, LinkedIn just kind of created that culture. So it's like it'd be interesting. That's like if we could create, if DAO Punks could be anything great, it'd be like this whole concept of like, oh, I want to work for a DAO. So if I want to work for a DAO, that means that I have to own a DAO Punk and at least join the community and meet people. And then eventually, I'll get rid of my DAO Punk because I'll find a job and everything, and I don't need it anymore. But if I ever need it again, I'll just buy another one. You know what I mean? Now you're creating this like, you're creating a community. Which that's still possible. I think DAOs are so young that it'd be stupid for anybody to say they're an expert in DAOs. It just doesn't exist. Nobody knows what the hell a DAO is yet. But
yeah.
But maybe in the next year or two, maybe we could foster that type of.
I know that'd be so great. That's maybe something to think about.
Yeah. Yep, that's an option too. So.
Oh man.
Well, we're on the right path. You could figure out creative ways too. You could turn into a gig economy where like DAO Punk holders can apply to be DAO Punk like mentors, and we pair them up with people who want to work in DAOs who are new, and the people that are coming in pay some sort of fee. And then part of that fee goes to the DAO Punk mentor, and then the rest of the fee goes to the treasury. Now you're creating almost like a gig economy around it. Like personal mentors. That's kind of a cool model. For DAOs though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or bear market buddies.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, cool. Well, I've got to go. I'm gonna be I'm going to look at. We're moving here soon, so I'm gonna go look at a house.
Oh, nice, exciting. As I have tons of suggestions of things that you should ask that you probably won't ask.
We used to be realtors, or we still are technically, but yeah. So we've sold a lot of houses. We're not buying a house. We're just renting a house. But
Oh, okay.
I've sold many houses.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. I remember when because like the few things that I did was like ask like really weird questions, and it would throw them for a loop, and it wasn't just like. And I remember I turned down when I was looking for an apartment. I turned down an apartment. It was like it was very nice, but I was just like, "Oh, what's your ISP here?" And they're just like, "Oh, it's this." And I'm like, "Sorry, I'm not gonna bother with you guys." And like I walked out, they're like, "Wait, why?" And I was just like, "Your place is nice." And I'm like, "But you have the world's worst ISP." And like I know that like another company, I know another building down the road has a better one that I'd rather deal with.
Yeah, it's like Comcast. Yeah,
I
I
was
know
like,
that's classic.
and they're like, and like, I remember that person was like dumbfounded that like I just left. I was like, we're done. Like, thanks for your time. I was like, yeah. There's nothing. There's like, I was like, I like this is as important to me as like every like your nice kitchen and renovated appliances. Like, cool, whatever. Like, what is like, where's like, what's what's your ISP? Like, how often like how like what's the max power draw I can pull out of the walls like for all of my stuff? Like like I don't like these.
Oh,
Are
I've heard weird stuff, man. I've heard some weird stuff.
yeah.
People are weird.
Yeah. All right. All right, cool. I'll let
Cool,
you.
man.
I'll let you go. It was great chatting. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
dude. Likewise. I will talk to you later.
All right, take care, dude.
All right, see ya.